Good morning. It is Saturday, April 4th, 2020. Woo! Not that that should surprise or offend or be a mystery to anybody. Today, we're going to discuss Cuban coffee, but not like you think. See, a friend of mine gave me a Cuban. Yeah. Very nice, isn't it? Isn't it? Oh yeah. It just doesn't get much better. And I wanted to save it for a special event. And I thought, what better event than my birthday? Happy birthday to me. Get to be 46 this whole year. Now, if anybody's wondering, yes, I am using a knife to cut the cap. I always do on a Cuban. The cap is very delicate, normally. You can always find yourself a fake by having to punch through about 20 layers of tobacco. You should almost barely have any leftover tobacco on a Cuban, especially a Bahique. Yeah. But I've never been good at cutting them with a regular cutter because I've gotten myself normalized to what's available here in the States. Most of them have a thicker cap. Not that they all do, just that most of them. Perfectly smokable. I'll be saving that label, though I am going to smoke it till it gets to about right there before I attempt to pull it off, just in case in travel there might have been any kind of issue on the underside of this wrapper. That'll keep it from splitting all the way back. So obviously it's traveled, had to go from Cuba to Houston. I'm not going to tell you via which way it got here. I just know that it went that way. Now, of course, if it's a Cohiba, you gotta use the big Cohiba lighter. Oh, but Voodoo, you said Cuban and coffee. Oh, that's right. Real quick, before we get started. I am not a coffee purist. I am not going to tell people to get rid of their Keurig. Keurig is just fine. If you need a quick cup of coffee and you're only making it for one, power that baby up and get it done. If you got the time, like most of us do right now, I suggest learning how to do a pour over. I think the flavors are always better, but some of that is the coffee and some of that is the pour over. Right now, I'm actually drinking a K-Cup from Cameron's. It is their Blue Mountain blend. Smooth, rich, delicious. Goes great with a coffee. Oh wait, it is a coffee. Goes great with a cigar or a pipe. First thing in the morning. It's actually kind of cool today. Only about 60 degrees. I look kind of foolish because I'm wearing shorts and this jacket, but I'm going to be out here a while. And if I keep the core warm, the rest of me will be alright. I know, I'm sporting a Crown Heads Las Calaveras hat. Mostly because I don't have a Cohiba hat. So if anybody at Cohiba wants to send me a hat, get in touch with me and I'll gladly accept. As it is, happy birthday to me. Can't be much better than this. Draws a little tight. That's to be expected. So 2 things about this cigar. One, I know it's a Cuban. I did all the looking. Now, friend who gave it to me, I know that he gave it to me because it was damaged. If you end up with a damaged one, I'll gladly accept it. He knows that. He's not going to just throw them out. You say, Voodoo, where was it damaged? Right there, that one little spot. It happens. I'm not going to sit there and tell somebody, no, I won't smoke that Cuban because it's got a little spot on the jacket where it looks like it might have flaked off. There's no point in that. It's still good. Okay, so back to coffee. There are 2 other kinds of coffee makers out there. 3 if we want to consider the old percolator. And 4 if we want to call that mocha pot something other than a percolator. We've already discussed the K-Cup. It's good, fast. It's not going to be the best coffee in the world. They actually have to use a lower grade coffee bean to fit in the small little cup so that it can produce enough coffee flavor when you push go. Man, that's a good cigar. Then there is the pour over. If you've listened to me for a while, you know I will talk about the pour over. It's the longest possible way to make coffee. It's going to take forever. But the flavors are just so... There's so much that you're missing with every other method, in my opinion. Oops, I forgot. There's also espresso. Okay, but most of us don't have an espresso machine at our own house. You can get one. Go right ahead if you want to. Just remember, you're drinking like 2 shots of coffee and they're calling that a cup. I'll take those same 2 shots of coffee that you're getting out of your espresso machine, dump them in on top of one of my slow pours. Oh, damn. Cold brew. There's a bunch of ways to make coffee. But my slow pour, I'll take those 2 shots of espresso, dump them in on top, call it a depth charge, and go. Just the way I like it. There is the French press. If you haven't had a good French press coffee, you need to try it sometime. You're going to have to find one of those truly, truly great coffee houses. You're not going to Starbucks and getting a French press. It's not happening. You either know somebody who knows. I know. I don't have it. Mostly because I'm lazy and I don't like to clean it. It's a lot of cleanup. Because you got to keep the press super clean, otherwise you're going to be having bacteria. But If you have one, you already know, and you have one of those electric water boilers, then you're pretty good already, because you have everything you need to sterilize the hell out of a French press. Man, that's a good cigar. Yeah, it's going to get reviewed. I'm taking notes. Okay, so we've hit K-Cup French press slow pour. Then there's a cold brew. Now, supposedly, you pour cold water over the coffee beans inside of a special filter inside of a chamber that's filled with ice and water. And as the water slowly melts the ice, it creates a certain amount of a current, which leaches the coffee oils out of the beans and makes it a cold brew. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've tried cold coffee. There's just, no. But there's a lot of people that like it, so I'm okay with it. Hey, let's be honest. I'm also okay with the MRE coffee. I drank a bunch of it at a certain time in my life. I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm not going to say it's good. It's what they feed our troops here in America. You know what? It's better than just straight water, so it's an instant coffee. I don't suggest much instant coffee, but for those of us who live along the Gulf Coast and up along the East Coast, I do suggest having a certain amount of a supply of a instant coffee. Comes down to a simple statement of fact. You can heat water over a campfire in a paper bag. You can boil water over a campfire in a paper bag. So if your pots are too good to use and there's a bad storm, hurricane type thing, and it's knocked all the power out, for all Yankees out there, think Superstorm Sandy. For those of us in Houston, just think every other Tuesday. Is what it is. But having a small supply of instant coffee is sometimes just the difference between going, how am I going to stomach another bucket of water? If you don't have a place to go and you gotta ride one out, get yourself a hurricane stash, put a little instant coffee in there. It's just a suggestion. Alright. Cold brew, instant, espresso. Espresso, you're basically doing the same thing as a mocha pot, but you're doing it with a timed release pressure. Basically, your little machine is a boiler, and when it reaches a certain pressure, it releases that hot water and steam through the coffee, pushes it out the sides into the 2 little shot glasses. You get what you get. But you better be able to grind real fine. Otherwise, you are not going to get very much. That's something that we'll discuss a little bit later. I think I've hit just about every kind of coffee that I can think of. Well, there's the old percolator. You know, you dump coffee into it, fill that sucker up with water, set it on the stove or the campfire, and you watch that little knob at the top go bloop, 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 bloop. In fact, they used to have a damn commercial where it was that sound was bringing everybody out. Bloop, 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 bloop. Somebody probably out there knows what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say all of us, but somebody. Okay, so into the Cuban. It's got a certain caramel and cashew. Nice cigar leaf flavor. Absolutely pristine burn. The price was perfect. In case anybody sees the man I call Coach, somebody tell him thank you for me. Those of us who know who I'm talking about, they know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention names. It just is what it is. A lot of people could be called Coach. But I'm not going to give away names and have people bugging a man that's going to give me a free Cohiba every once in a while. Especially a Bahique. Are you kidding me? A free Bahique? That's a friend. I don't care who you are. If somebody gives you a free Bahique, and it's a real Bahique, they're a friend. You can call them anything you want to beforehand. You better call them friend afterwards, because you don't just hand these out. Hand them to a friend. You hope they enjoy them as much as you do. So let's talk a little bit about grinders. There's a lot of grinders out there. A lot of different types. My personal favorite is a burr type grinder. Now, that's going to run a pretty penny, and I'm not going to tell everybody, oh yeah, you got to go get one of those. You can do just fine in your home with something out of Walmart. It doesn't have to be the most expensive model on the planet. In fact, right now I'm using a Hamilton Beach. It has little lines on the inside of the cup. I fill the beans up to the correct line for what I'm using. Jam it into ultra fine, press the start button, and then I go fill up my little water heater. I don't have to sit there and watch it grind. And that's the best part about grinders. If you get a decent one, you don't have to watch it grind. It does the job. I will suggest you get a grinder that has the ability to select grind. There are going to be times when you want a coarse grind. You want the more coarse style grind when you're doing a percolator or a French press. But you want a more fine grind if you're doing the mocha pot or espresso. And you want the finest you can get for either one of those. For pour over, it says medium. And I go with a super fine because I want all the coffee. I don't want some of it, I want all of it. I want when it's pouring out of there to be liquid tar if I can. I'm not going to. I brew good coffee. I don't brew crap coffee, but that's just the way it is. I want all of the product. You're only going to brew it once. Don't try to save some for later. Get it all. Now, regular drip coffee maker, which is basically trying to replace the slow pour over type, Mr. Coffee. There's a couple dozen of them out there, I'm sure. They're good, but I'm gonna tell you the mistake most people make. You brew that coffee. A lot of people set the timer. And an hour goes by and it's still sitting on the heater. And it's literally just getting worse and worse. You should be attempting to drink all your coffee inside of the first 30 minutes of brew. If that means you can brew 1 cup, that's it. You know what? They've got a slow pour over that can do that. If that means that you're stuck with a K-cup because you can't be fooled with the mess and the hustle of it, hey, it is what it is. I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. They make little bitty coffee brewers. It's very hard to brew a little bit of coffee, though. Like I said, they do make a little 1 cup pour over. It looks like a coffee cup that sits on top of your coffee cup with a little flat saucer that sticks out the sides so that it just brews directly into your 1 cup of coffee. The problem is figuring out how little coffee and how little water you can use. Most little electric water heaters will brew 2 to 3 cups of of water to boiling, and it's kind of hard to measure while you're pouring it over and you can't see how deep your cup is. So I mean, if you're using a big cup, I guess you're all right, but if you're using like a 32 ounce Yeti, yeah, you're gonna be all right. But you still got to figure out how much coffee for how much water. It's a little bit of a mess. That's what I like about the little grinder that I have. Like I said, if I know how much water I've got in my little water heater has little lines on the side that shows, hey, this is the amount. I can do 2 cups of water. 2 coffee cups worth of water. Coffee cup and a cup are 2 actual different measurements. If you somehow. I think an actual cup is 8 ounces and a coffee cup is 6 ounces. Somebody decided to screw all that up. What I can tell you is I have to have 2 cups of water to use my little water boiler, and I can do that little of an amount of coffee. A bag of beans would last me a month. As it is, I normally make about 8 cups because my little coffee boiler does 1 liter of water. It says 1 liter, and I put a little bit more, and the coffee is a little bit strong. Well, it's enough for me. It is what it is. In case anybody wants to tell where I got that coffee cup from, I got it last time I was in New Orleans. Cafe du Monde. I suggest anybody who wants to have a, oh my God, strong cup of coffee, go ahead and go down there. Beignets are optional, in case your diabetes is going to kill you. But you better like chicory. I do, so no problem for me. Anyways, yeah, you can do a pour over as a small amount as you like. Not going to be hurting anybody's feelings. Oh no, ash just fell. Unfortunately, it fell in the seat of the chair that has my tripod connected to it. Gotta clean that up. I'm gonna burn up my chair just because I party fouled. Yep. Gonna try and crack and split on me. Right there at that little hole. No big deal. No big deal. Still perfectly smokable. So what else do we feel like discussing today? I hope somebody's got some topics. Lately I've been catching yardism. He's always an interesting thing going on. Lives out in California. Smokes out on his porch. I'm not sure about front or back. He starts most of his videos with a picture of a crow. It was right up on top of the camera. I'm pretty sure it was a crow. Hard to tell the difference between a crow and a raven unless you've got size, something that you can compare it with. Raven's a much bigger bird. It's about 2 to 3 times the size of a crow. At least that's what I can figure out. Crows are a little larger than a pigeon, and ravens are about the size of a red-tailed hawk. Ravens will fly all day, and crows will fly about 80 feet in one direction and then land and do some stuff, and it is what it is. Both of them smart birds. I think that's what Da Vinci, or was it Da Vinci that carved the thinker? I'm probably wrong. Who carved the thinker? You know. Except for no cigar. I think that's where the guy messed up. He should have put a cigar or a pipe in the guy's mouth. How did I get on this tangent? Doesn't matter. So I'm going to tell you the funniest story I've ever had on my birthday. Yes, my birthday. "16 years ago now. I was turning 30. I was in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, some of y'all already know where this is going, because this is just, if you put 2 and 2 together, you already know this is like, wait, hold up. No. I'm a white guy. They would say Caucasian. I grew up in a Navy family. We did not see color. My first 2 friends were the brown boys. My mom went looking for the family with the last name Brown to figure out where I was. No, I was playing with the 2 black kids. I didn't know they were black. It didn't mean anything to me. Color of their skin? Brown. Good friends, great guys. I don't have but maybe 2 memories from that far back. One was playing with the brown boys, and the other was moving out of that little trailer park. Second friends, white kids, but I didn't see them as white. I just saw them as kids. My parents never pushed a distinction. I didn't know. Racism wasn't taught in my day. Third friend, after I moved from one location to a completely different location, half Japanese. Moved from there to the city where I'm sitting in now. My next friend, Hispanic. So like, I'm not racist. Not that there would be any question there, but I don't see color of skin as a reason to judge a person's character. It's just never been there. And then when I joined the Army, you know what? We were all green. You want to be some color? Join the military. Be that color. You'll have a choice. Dark blue, light blue, khaki, green. I'm going to say bright orange would be the Coast Guard, but I'm not going to guarantee that. If any of y'all Coasties are out there, you got offended by this, please let me know what your exact color was. I never really studied up on it. I thought about doing it when I got out of the Army, but I was a little bit pissed off with government service at the time, so I didn't do it. Probably my loss, but it just is what it is. Anyways, back to the story. Yeah, long tangent. Sorry about that. I was in Memphis several years ago. And I go to the front desk of the little hotel I'm staying at. I'd only been there about a week. Been working. And there it is. It's my birthday. And I'm going like, hey, you know what? Is there a club or someplace around here where I can have a few beers? I don't have any work tomorrow or any work until Monday, and it's going to be a couple of days, so I can really tie one on and have a good time. And the young lady at the front desk says, "You're not going out tonight." No, yeah, I pretty much am. I just want you to tell me someplace kind of close by that I can, drink some beers, have a good time. And she reiterates, no, you don't understand. You're not going out tonight. Yeah, no, I really am. I'm going to go out and have a good time. And then I'm going to sit in my hotel room and recover from my hangover the next day. And to hell with it, I'm going to have a good time. Where can I go? And security guard, seeing that the young lady at the front desk was a little bit flustered, he comes over and asks what the issue is. And I'm like, I just want to know where I can go to have a couple of beers tonight, have a good time. And he looks at me and says, "You're not going out tonight." I'm like, why the hell not? It's free country. Am I under arrest or something? What's going on here? So then he sits there and explains to me in simple words. April 4th, as in a certain song from YouTube. Not YouTube, but U2. Shot rang out in the Memphis sky. Yeah. Martin Luther King Jr.? That was, yeah. So I said, ooh, you're right. We're going to go get a couple of 12 packs of beer. And that's how I spent my 30th birthday. I'm going to spend a little bit of the rest of this one, now that I'm up at 40 minutes, smoking the rest of this cigar and having a good day, even if it is a little chilly. I'm not going to have you watch me smoke a whole cigar. I'm not going to give you the full review. If you want that, go to www.pipescigarsreviews.com. All one word. Or you can go find me on Twitter and chase that link. Or you can go to Briar Report. I'm pretty sure BriarReport.com has a link directly to my blog. Thank you, Phil and Bill, for that. I appreciate y'all helping me get the word out. Anyways, if all else, remember this simple statement. Long lives, big bowls, long ashes. And I'll see you soon.